Miss Lizzie. I don't ever smoke the dizzy, but we can always share some ditsies. It's just a cup in time. This song doesn't have to rhyme. Life's all of us, not every moment we can be feeling fine. I wanna share a moment, just a second if you will, maybe even a cup of thrill. We could share this performance. It's tea time, come sit with me.
Well, welcome guys. Miss Liz in the house. Yes, we are 1 hour ahead because Miss Liz had a grandchild that graduated from high school today, and the graduation went on a little longer. There must have been at least 100 kids that were graduating from high school. So I just wanted to encourage all those kids that are graduating and work so hard to get their grade 12. So I want to wish a good congratulations to my granddaughter, Alicia McDonald. Grandma is so proud of you and you look beautiful today. So that is why we are 1 hour delay. And I am so glad that my guest was able to work with me so that we could get this out to you as well as today and keep it on schedule and not have to do a reschedule. I have the incredible Barb Banner in house, and we're going to talk about her tea. And her tea is tenacious, emballment and evolving. And we're going to talk about medium and trance and all of that good stuff, the spiritual world. We're going to talk about some good, strong tea today. So before we get started, let's get everybody over to those platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Clapper, Lemonade. You guys know the platforms. If I haven't mentioned them, Miss Liz is on all of those. Give those a like and follow and subscribe. And when you check out the descriptions of my guests, their links are there as well. So give them a follow and subscribe. And that's how we get this tea to really spill and flow and get everybody connected to a strong cup of tea. Also jump over to the podcast apps: Podbean, iHeartRadio, Listen Notes, Spotify, all those good platforms as well. The ones I haven't mentioned, Miss Liz is on those as well. So if you see those, give those a like, follow, subscribe. And if any of the tea times resonate with anybody that is listening to the tea time, or you know somebody that needs that picker up, or share that tea time with them, because that's how we spill the tea in Miss Liz's house. Let's get over to babyboomers.org as well. Miss Liz has been partnered with them for about 3 years. And if Miss Liz is not serving you what you'd like, there's over 50 different podcast hosts on that platform as well. And they are looking to have guests as well. So if you're looking to be featured on other podcasts, check that out as well at babyboomers.org. Let's get started with disclaimer and then a beautiful intro. And then we're going to get Barbara in here and we're going to spill her tea. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live show. Miss Liz's Tea Time is a global platform dedicating to sharing real life stories, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations that inspire awareness, healing, and connection. I'm Miss Liz is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment during the live broadcast, please grant StreamYard permission to display your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that all the content brought forward during any Tea Time show is presented in good faith. However, discussions may include opinions, beliefs, and perspectives that do not necessarily represent the views of Miss Liz or the Tea Time platform. Information shared by guests is based on their own experiences and is perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All guests, viewers, and participants are responsible for using their own good judgment when considering any action or decision that may relate to these discussions. Some episodes may cover sensitive topics, including but not limited to trauma, abuse, grief, mental health, and other emotionally triggering subjects. Listeners and viewers' discretion is strongly advised. Tea Time with Miss Liz is an open discussion forum designed to offer insight, inspire awareness, and create connection. It is not a substitute for professional, medical, legal, or therapeutical advice. If you require professional support, please seek assistance from qualified professionals or trusted resources in your area. If you have any questions regarding this disclaimer or the content of the discussions, you are welcome to contact me, aka Miss Liz, directly on my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com or visit my link tree at Miss Liz's Tea Time. By choosing to participate in, comment on, or view these live shows, you acknowledge and accept this disclaimer. Your participation is entirely voluntary. I, Miss Liz, welcomes you to join the conversation with an open heart, and if at any time you feel this platform is not right for you, I respect your wishes and decision and welcome you back whenever you are ready. Tea Time with Miss Liz is serving truth and awareness one cup at a time. Well, welcome to Tea Time with Miss Liz, where conversations remind us that healing often comes in many forms and sometimes hope arrives when we least expect it. Today's guest brings a unique perspective of grief, healing, connection, and the enduring bond of love that continues beyond loss. Please join me in welcoming Barbara Manner, certified psychic, evidential medium, trance medium, teacher, speaker, and author whose life work focuses on helping individuals find comfort, healing, and peace through spiritual connection. Before stepping fully into her spiritual calling, Barbara spent decades serving others through crisis supports, counseling, and community services. Her journey has been guided by compassion, empathy, and a deep desire to help people navigate some of life's most difficult moments. Today, Barb shares messages of hope, healing, and reassurance for those dealing with grief, loss, and life unanswered questions. Her work encourages people to remain open to science, connection, and the possibility that love continues beyond physical separation. Today's tea time will explore healing through grief and loss, finding hope after difficult life experiences, spiritual connection and awareness, signs that bring comfort and reassurance, living with purpose, faith, and compassion. Barbara reminds us that healing does not mean forgetting. Sometimes healing means learning how to carry love forward in a new way. So grab your cup and join us for a heartfelt conversation filled with hope, healing, and connection and real life tea, truth, experience, and awareness. And let me get Barbara in here and let's spill some tea.
Hi.
Welcome, Barb. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you.
Let's give it a second again. We're just going to give it a second. My hearing aids need to kick on. Maybe Barb, sing me a little tune. Do, 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 do.
Doodly do, do, do. I can't sing. You don't want me to sing.
See. It's not picking your audio up. Let me start with the first question, Barb, and we'll see if it kicks in. So,
Okay.
Barb, who were you as a little girl and who are you now as a grown lady?
As a little girl, I did not have any spiritual awakening. I did not have any imaginary friends. It didn't hit me until much later in life. The pandemic was my awakening, and it did not go gently into the night. I had all sorts of paranormal things going on in my home, and orbs and flashing lights and spinning fans and things flying off the wall. And I've become a different person since then. I always felt that I was a little different. I was a little, psychic in different ways, but this was a whole new thing. Doing all the volunteer work for crisis response teams and women's crisis hotlines and at a Cedars emergency room volunteering, that led me to where I was supposed to be. And at the time, I had no idea. The only time it made me think, like, why am I doing this? Because the crisis response team, you went on the scene where there was a dead body, and the police were there, and the coroners were there, and I was there to help the family on the worst day of their life. And at that point, when every one of my friends said, because we called out in the middle of the night whenever there was a problem, why are you doing this? And the only thing I could think of is because I can. I was able to compartmentalize. But what I've learned through being a medium and all the training I had going into it is everybody's the same. This whole universe. We are all here to learn lessons and to grow and be kind to everybody because you don't know what's going on behind their eyes or their smile. And it just changed me, the way I looked at everybody and everything, all the things that happen to me or to everybody that are really challenging or life-changing. You gotta just say it's happening for a reason and trust it. Trust the universe. So you do have to have some faith that everything happens for a reason. And now, if I have a bump in the road, it's okay. I can't wait to figure out, what this is going to help me do. Okay, so it's just your attitude. If you can't change the situation, I say change the way you look at it, and that's sort of how I roll.
So, Barbara, how old were you when you noticed that the spirit world was calling you?
68.
So as a little girl, did you notice little signs that you didn't pay attention to?
Nope. When I was 13, I didn't even know what a medium was, but I knew I felt different. Felt psychic about things, like, oh, I think Susie's going to get called into the principal's office for a short skirt today. Just things that went with my age. And I said to a friend, I said, you know what? I think I'm a witch. And of course, I didn't know what a medium was. So at that age, I felt like I had some juju, but I didn't do anything about it. And I always loved watching like Sylvia Brown, who's an old-time medium, and paranormal shows. So I feel like for almost my whole life, I was in the deep freeze spiritually. And then, when everyone started waking up and they figured, okay, we can use her now, and they just like reactivated me. Boy, even on the first week of my first lesson, I just went into the closet, turned the lights off, meditated, which was probably the second time in my life, and my father appeared from the other side. So I said, hey, this is pretty easy. And I just loved it, and I just hit the ground running.
Well, we have a comment here from Amanda, and it says, Barbara Banner is the best medium I have ever met with, and I can't recommend her enough. So I'm going to guess that she's one of your clients.
Who is it? I don't.
Amanda Davis Spaces. So I'm not sure if that's her YouTube name or.
At my age, I don't remember. I can't remember all these things, but thank you so much. And obviously we had a very good reading, and it has nothing to do with me. I am just the vessel. So, but thank you. Thank you.
We have a question here. Barbara, what first inspired you to explore mediumship after your spiritual awakening during the pandemic?
Well, I didn't know what to do with all the paranormal stuff in the house. And luckily my husband was home to see it. Otherwise he would have, I would have been off at some, mental hospital. But I took this class, and it was called soul-to-soul communication. And I didn't even know it was about mediumship. I just figured I got to go to somebody who knows a little more about this, why this is happening to me now. I mean, there was just orbs flying. It was, I think I told somebody it was like 3 movies in one. Poltergeist, Freaky Friday, and Alice in Wonderland. I mean, it just was all of these things at one time. It was a lot. So mediumship, I just did what the teacher told me to do, and it worked. And I thought, this is wonderful, especially when I started reading for, practicing with other students and getting a lot of accurate things. It was, I can't believe I can do this. I can't believe that I am able to do this and tell people things. I didn't believe it for a long time. Actually, the hardest thing in being a medium for me, and the last thing that I conquered, was trust. Because I have some very funny guides, and they said things, and I said, I don't think I can say that. Or, that's not really. I know one grandmother in spirit said, tell her to do phone sex. And I said to her, the client, who was a young girl, I didn't have anything to do with that. I did not speak that from my mouth. And the girl's laughing and saying, that is so funny. It's a running joke between my husband and I. When I want some new furniture for the house or something, he goes, if you want that, you're going to have to do phone sex. And we just talked about it the night before. So Grandma was just letting her know she's still around her. So they give me things, and if Spirit had a sense of humor on the other side, they're going to have it here. So.
Well, that's always been my curiosity. Do they have a sense of humor on the other side? And obviously they do.
They do. They match us up. We don't get a curmudgeon because I can be funny. They don't give you a curmudgeon who doesn't know what you're talking about. So my group is, they could have been comedy writers in their other life. I don't know, but we're a good team. That's all I have to say. And Spirit picks the clients for you too. You know, they match you up. So they throw in some real tough ones sometimes, just so our ego doesn't get involved. But I just,
Barbara, has there ever been a time where they gave you a message and you were like, I can't give them this message?
yes. And I don't think your audience is ready for that, but it was so off color and out of reality that this person would say this. This was like a little old lady, like Tweety Bird's grandmother, you know, on the other side. And it had to do with a Saturday Night Live skit. Okay. I don't want to, you know, they'll probably black me out if I say it. But anyway, it's on one podcast that has a young audience. I don't know. And I actually, you know, I just said this on somewhere else that I think I could repeat it. I said that Spirit, you know, I don't do X-rated readings because Spirit comes in and they want to do that, okay? And I have to like put a stop to it. And the client is always laughing. She goes, "That is so him." I mean, he always, you know, he comes to me and they want to get frisky. But I did say that to somebody, your husband came in. He was not wearing clothes. He was wearing a cowboy hat and chaps, okay? And everything was covered, but that's all he was wearing. And, you know, and she just laughed. Because I said, is there any time he did a little role play with him and the cowboy? She goes, I can't believe he's telling everybody, okay? So they come in and tell me things. But I do stop the nibbling of the neck of the. Anyway, we're working on it.
Well, Barbara, we have a question here from Antonio. Did you always feel spiritual connected growing up, or did those experiences come much later in life?
Much later in life. I was much older, Medicare age, okay, and that's when it came. That's why I've heard from different channelers. They say that I've been doing it like 1,000 years, and that's why they like gave me a shot of adrenaline. I popped up and I was a medium. It's because that's what I was many times in the past. So who knew?
Well, we have another question here, and it's from Pearl. I'm curious about your take on reincarnation, and if souls get reincarnated to a new life, can you still connect with their previous consciousness?
They are, yes on reincarnation. It would be pretty boring if since our consciousness is eternal, if we didn't get stimulated, and they want to come back. They want to come back. Sometimes even if they had a terrible life, because they realized it didn't hurt my soul. It never hurts your soul. It's just a lesson. It's just Earth School. So yeah, we do come back, and we do travel in family soul pods. So the person who was the mother of you in this life, you could be her mother next time, and you know, give her what she deserves. And it's all, or a man. You could be whatever is gonna help you is gonna help you help this person in the next life, and whatever she has to do to help you as well. It goes both ways. So, and we never know. And what was the end of that question that she asked?
Oh
yes, you still, whoever your people, your family was in this life with you, you will recognize them again, no matter how they were somewhere else. Everything's worked out there. They're not leaving anything to your imagination. It's all good.
Well, we have another question here from Real Estate Kate. What was the biggest surprise during your spiritual awakening journey?
Well, the first surprise was that I could do it. I mean, somebody throws you something, and what do you think I can tell what he had for breakfast, or how he died? But that was the biggest thing, that to just the belief, but that was part of the joy. I mean, in readings, when I get a really juicy piece of evidence, I'm as excited as the client is that I knew that. So it's just so exciting. So, you want one experience? I'll tell you one of the most interesting ones I had. I had a woman who absolutely did not believe in it, did not want to say yes to anything, and I had to shut it down. I guess it's just not working today. And then her husband, who I did have there, but she wouldn't believe it, came to me in the middle of the night and showed me a half a toasted bagel that was scooped out. And I got in touch with her and said, your husband was here and he wanted me to show you this, a bagel, scooped out bagel. I said, does it mean anything? She goes, no. You called me about this? No. Anyway, a week later, she gets back to me. She goes, I went to see my husband's parents, and my father-in-law said, because her husband had died, my father-in-law said, I invented something, and I have a prototype. Will you look at it and see if you know what it is? He showed her some contraption. She said, I don't have any idea what that is. And he said, it's a bagel scooper. Okay? So that changed everything for her. How could this woman know that my father-in-law, 6 states away, was creating something to scoop bagels that my husband knew? So, those kind of things that happen like that are wonderful to make you just open your own consciousness of clients. Because, hey, if I didn't know all this stuff and I went to a medium, I'd probably throw in a trick question too. I mean, that was part of the problem. Like, what were we wearing 3 days before he died? I don't know. That's not what we do. So, yeah, little things like that are always, and even when you do believe it, sometimes, Spirit doesn't really throw you out a lot of signs all the time. I mean, their awareness is with you forever. I had a woman who, every year, she came to me, and this time she said, I have not had any signs from him for 6 months. You keep telling me he's always around you. And he is, but I think he might have a girlfriend on the other side. She actually said that, and she was suffering. So I said, okay, well, I have your husband here. She said, if he's really there, if he's really been with me, he will know the show I was binge watching during the pandemic. So I turned white as a ghost, because that kind of pressure, you know what I mean? It's tough on me. So I just said, he just said it was Outlander. And she said, it was Outlander. So she said, you don't know how great you made me feel right now, to know that even if I don't, see a butterfly on my head, or the lights are flashing, or the doors are closing, that he's still around me. His awareness is with me. I can say anything at any time and he'll hear me, he'll know. And she goes, it just changed everything for her for another year. And then she's going to come back again and say, I don't feel anything. I got another whopper for you.
She's just making sure he's being a good boy on the other side.
He is. We're very close. You get close to Spirit that when the client comes along, it's like, okay, come on over here, Jules, Yeah, and those are the ones who try to do the X-rated thing sometimes. They get so friendly. I say, get a room, buddy, but it's not going to be here.
Do you ever get a break from the spirit world?
If I wanted one. I'm on vacation. I'm in Mexico, and on the plane I got somebody who wanted to know if, what happened to their family member who just passed, and the coroner didn't quite understand everything. So, and you know, I got to tune in. I tuned in, but they know, Spirit knows, because I do my best, probably best stuff at 3 a.m. when my conscious mind is half asleep and I'm in that really delicious place where, but they know, don't come to me with a mediocre piece of evidence. If you're coming at 3, it better be bagel worthy or you know, Outlander worthy. Don't come to tell me she has, you know, 4 pairs of shoes. I'm not interested. Let me sleep. So, you know, we work together. We work together.
So it's teamwork, right?
It is. Everything is teamwork. I am literally the ventriloquist's dummy. Okay, they put the words in my mouth, and that's better off because my daughter says I say crazy things on my own. So, it's good.
Have you ever gotten messages for your family members or friends?
Well, for my friends, yes. Our canasta teacher, who just passed, came and gave me some messages. And at the end, I said, she's showing me somebody changing light bulbs. Okay, now this was like, my friend said, that is crazy. I don't even know what you're talking about. And then the next day she goes, oh my God, she goes, my cousin used to collect those tungsten bulbs, which I like better than the LED. They make you look better. And whenever I saw her, I would take a pack home with me. And when I went to clear out her apartment, I packed up a whole bunch of these tungsten light bulbs. I said, well, that's what she was talking about. And we just had a good laugh and a good cry, you know? Those kind of things. Because some things, I'm throwing so many things at you, you can't catch them all. Sometimes when you listen to it, because we do an audio recording, so many things are going to come. And some things I say, go ask your mother, or go ask your sister. If Aunt Lulabelle only had 4 toes, you know, she'll tell you.
So, Barbara, what's a trance medium?
Trance, I'll tell you you need to know the difference between evidential and trance, which is the same word as like channeling. In my mediumship, I'm communicating with the guides and the communicator, and it's all teamwork. They're putting things in, and I'm fully awake like I am now. I can go back and forth or whatever. And in trance, I go to a different level of consciousness. I'm like down, altered state, okay? So because the worst thing for me as a medium is when my mind gets involved. This has nothing to do with anything about me. I don't have the answers. Spirit does. So in trance, I like, you know, close my eyes and I just imagine my body, my consciousness just walking over and having a cup of coffee. And I just say what they tell me to say. I only do this at the end of a session, a special session, because it takes so much energy out of me. I'm like, I need a nap. And when I'm done, and I don't know what I say when I'm saying it. You know, I'll remember a few words, and afterwards they can give me some points, and it'll start coming back to me. But I don't remember anything. And they'll throw things in there that sometimes are so crazy that it almost wakes me out of my thing because I hear some of it. And I'm, what? So, and it's usually, people say, it's like she was right here. It's like my mom was right here. And that one thing she said was so meaningful. She said all of this was so meaningful. And it's great because, you know, I just have to keep my head out of it and not involved. And that's the best. Those are the best readings.
Well, Barbara, I have a question here for you, and it is, what are the most common signs that the spiritual world sends to their loved ones when they want to show that they're present?
Okay. There's some ones that they're very common because they're very easy for spirit to do it, like inhabit a butterfly or a dragonfly or a hummingbird. Those are things that are, I think the light just flickered and I don't know who that is, but so those are very, very easy to say, okay, that's probably, my mom. There's also coins. They can leave coins. And I always say, if you see a coin, you pick it up and look at the date. It could be your year that you were born, or that the spirit was born or died, or it's usually going to be, I found a whole thing of coins. I went through all of them. And one of them, the last one, was my daughter's birth year. So that's something to do that people probably don't know. Also, if you hear a song that you know your loved one liked, that is telling you, when you get home, Google the lyrics. I have a message for you in there. So it could be 2 lines or whatever, but you will know what your loved one is trying to tell you. And the same with a book. If for some reason you're guided to a book, maybe it's sticking out of the bookshelf, or it was your husband's favorite book, just say to your husband, close your eyes, take the book out and say, just guide me to the right page, and just open it with your eyes closed. Wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. And if you skim it, you're going to find a little message for you, okay? They're always trying. A lot of people get numbers, reoccurring numbers, 333, 666. I say it doesn't have to be reoccurring. When I wake up at 3:06 in the morning, I Google 306 angel number, and I got a message that, wow, that really fits what I'm feeling right now. So they're all around. They'll do it any way they can. It could be a license plate in front of you. It could be something that that just love that makes you think of them, because they're always with you and thinking of you and wanting to help you. They put ideas and thoughts and words in your head, and we call it intuition. Okay, so sometimes you think, I don't know, my friends say don't do it, but my intuition say don't be afraid and go forward with it. Okay, and I just got goosebumps from that. So somebody out there needs that message. Don't be afraid. Don't let fear guide you. Use your own intuition, and because your loved one is telling you, and just trust what you get.
We have a comment here from Step into the Valley. The message of healing after loss is resonating deeply. Thank you both.
Oh, thank you.
We have a question here from Ariel, and it is, what advice would you give someone who is just beginning to explore spiritual connections?
Congratulations, okay? But learn whatever you can. If you can figure out where you belong in this vast spiritually realm. I mean, somebody wants to be a shaman, somebody wants to just be a psychic, there's a medium, there's a healer, Reiki. If you can learn a little about everything and see where you're pulled toward, because there are so many rabbit holes and you're going to feel guilty. But my guides just said, put the blinders on, stay in your own lane. You can't do everything well. Just, this is where you're meant to be. So hopefully you would get that. And there is a place that has everything, it's all things spiritual, all information. It's like a treasure trove. It's called soulproof.com. It's all free articles, recordings, interviews, documentaries, free ebooks from a world famous writer, okay, Dr. Mark Pitzik. Anyway, it's a great place. You ask questions and you can find an article that talks about it. It's so much fun, and you don't have to figure, where do I go to find this? What do I do? Just go there.
Barb, we have another question that came in for you, and it is, how did your years of crisis volunteer work prepare you for this path?
Well, I would say it got me out of my ego. It made me more empathetic, because I was always removed. You know, I sort of felt I had a little charmed life, everything was going well. And I needed this. I needed this to just a reality checkpoint, you know. And it just made me aware how people feel when things happen and how it can just destroy their lives, and it colors everything, you know, when if anything like chronic illness or the loss of a loved one, it affects everybody around you. It's like your energy and their energy. It just made me so much more aware of how people feel and how bad it can get. When there's a suicide, a client, you know, whose child committed suicide, who didn't commit it, just suicide. There's hardly anybody who I don't feel has already thought about taking their own life. And why am I here? My child was my life, and I'd be happier with him on the other side. It's something that it's not an anomaly. It is so common. And a lot of times when I do a question and answer section in my readings, and the first question I say, I'm hijacking it. I don't want to know what the question is. I want you to just say it, just speak. It always comes out. I said they're going to give you an answer, and it always comes out. And sometimes they show me somebody who just wants to like jump off a cliff, or you know, jump into the water and not come out. So you know, the person understands. I understand, and that's not what your loved one wants you to do. So it's a message from them. Don't you dare. All they want from us is to have a life filled with joy and love and gratitude and helping others. That's it. That's all they have up there. There's no anger, like get back at Uncle Harry for screwing you out of that money. There's nothing like that, okay? It's just, you know, forgive everybody. We're all here for the same reason. Somebody picked being a jerk, you know, an abusive jerk, because it was going to help this woman learn to be confident and how strong she really was. There's always a reason. And if I was doing a play, because I always say, we're just doing a play down here, we're just picking roles. If I was doing a play, it's much more fun to be the bad guy than to be the good guy. So don't be so, they're not like that on the other side. But they do come across when I say, okay, I've got a man and he's got a really bad temper. And you're like cornering him, you know, and behind something because you're afraid of him. And she goes, yeah, that was my husband. He was so abusive. Now, he's not like that now. But if he didn't come back, if he didn't show me that aspect of his life in this incarnation, she wouldn't have known who I had. Oh, this is a lovely man. He's so loving and kind. Well, I don't know who you got, but that is certainly not my husband.
Yeah.
So they have to play the part.
We have another question for you, Barbara, and it's, do you believe everyone has intuition abilities, or are some people naturally more sensitive?
Every single person on this earth supposedly has this in them. They all have the tools, and all it takes is like a soul and a heart. So even people who, like, I never even meditated when I went to my first class. I mean, I was a rookie from Rookieville. You know, I had nothing. And you just learn. And who knows if you weren't a psychic in one of your past lives, and that's why you're being, and people who have relatives. And a lot of times we don't know, okay, because nobody talked about it. Because, like, you know, 400 years ago, we were being burned at the stake. When I had to come out to my mother that I was doing mediumship, she was 103 and a half. And I started telling her, she goes, oh, don't be silly. Your grandmother had it. She dragged me to psychics and tea leaf readers and, you know, crystal ball people all the time when I was young. He said, she had it too. I said, Mom, you're going to be 104. When do you think you were going to tell me about this? She wasn't. They didn't talk about it then. So but you snoop around a little with your relations, and you might have a great grandmother who's a little off, they might say.
But
So we
Barbara,
all can do
why,
it.
why, why, why do you think people avoid the signs of having that clairvoyance?
Well, for a child, a lot of children avoid it. Because sometimes the spirits can be a little scary for them. Because they don't really know, or there's somebody over their crib, or there's orbs flying around. So they don't really talk about it. Because, and if they do, and if the parents are not aware, they would say, oh, it was just a bad dream, honey. No, you don't really have an imaginary friend, but you can tell me. We'll tell her to go swing you on the swing, and the swing is going, okay? So it depends on the parents, how they react if their son is staring at a corner for an hour and laughing, or they come in and he's talking to somebody. It's how they react. And so if you've got someone who's got juju, they're going to say, oh, you might be talking to Dada, you know, and a lot of times they are. So, but children are so open, they're little sponges. By the time they get to like 6 or 7, it sort of goes away because they've moved on to more reality. And so, but it's not abnormal for a young child to be seeing somebody or talking to somebody.
So Barb, when you do a reader, do you do with cards, or do you do with crystal balls? Do you do it with just messages?
I do it with, I just meditate. I call in the person that the client wants. I can't guarantee they'll come first, but they rarely don't come. And I'm like a reporter on the street. That's how I like to say myself. So I'm going to just report on whatever you show me. That is what I do. And I don't try to clutch it and say, I need to know what they did for a living. They run the show. And they can't make a mistake. I can, because if I let my head get involved, I'm going to, if they give me something and I don't quite understand it, it's natural to want to fill in the blank a little. Okay? And I have to stay out of that, because the client's going to figure it out. And I'm not supposed to know what it means. And if they say, I just can't resonate with that, sometimes I'll go into my guides and say, can you give me a little more clarity? And I could have left off one word or added something that changed the meaning. And then I'll say, well, it doesn't make sense if I say it this way. Oh yes, now I know what you're talking about. So I do try to do that, and if not, they may figure it out a little later. But mostly, it all works out.
And Barbara, what role does meditation play in the spiritual connection?
If you want to do anything in spirituality, I say you have to meditate. You have to learn to clear your mind. Just clear. And it's so hard. You got 3 kids, you got a grumpy husband, you got stuff to do. I always say meditate at night when the kids are in bed, you're taking a shower, he's asleep. Just put some headphones in, go on YouTube to guided meditations, and you'll hunt around. And there's so many, they're all free. Just go on and plug in and find one that really takes you to another place, and like where you are floating. And you're going to want to be back there, okay? Because that is like being in the power. You just feel it. You just feel the energy, and it's like just being in a dream. It's lovely. And you'll learn how to turn that into getting a message, or taking the human out of it and just being your soul.
What advice would you give someone fearful of exploring spirituality?
Well, fear keeps us from doing so many things that are in our best interest, or that will help us earn more money, like changing jobs. No, I'm going to stay here. I'm comfortable. it's fear. And you just have to like say, if I try it and it doesn't work, I've learned a lesson. It's not for naught. So I take baby steps, okay? Just watch a lot of podcasts for people who had near-death experiences or all sorts of things. If you have something you're interested that you're really afraid of, go on YouTube and say podcast for such and such. If you're afraid of them, coming in the middle of the night, whatever it is, only knowledge can make you not afraid. And when it's going to be like, oh my gosh, we are living in Alice in Wonderland. This is like, I can't even believe that this whole planet, except for the aware ones, are exposed and understand all this and have all this joy and gratitude and love, and the rest of us are just afraid of our shadows and not really living up to what our life could. We make our lives. We create our own lives by what we want, what we think, what we do. And if you want to change your life, you have to just be a little more open. And the more you learn, the more open you get. And all of a sudden, I'll see your name on a new medium, Susie Wong. Okay, she was in one of my classes, and I don't do classes actually. I don't teach.
We have another question for you, Barbara, and it's, how do families typically respond after receiving meaningful evidence during a reading?
They are, if they're not real believers, they're surprised, they're excited, and they open up. They get a little more interested. Sometimes I'll have a couple who's lost somebody, and she says, my husband is like not a believer. And at the end, he was crying, okay, because I said something to him that means so much to him that his son and him used to do, like play lacrosse together. I didn't even know what lacrosse is, but it came out of my mouth. So my line is, I can't bring them back, but I can bring them closer. And what I want to happen in a reading is I want them to feel more lifted than they did when they came in. I want them to have more hope. I want them to be more open to things, to signs they're overlooking. Because if you don't believe, you don't receive. It's not like we learned. Seeing is believing. If that's your thing, it's going to be a long time before you look at a sign. I have a lot of times spirit, like a man will rub the back of his wife's head or just touch her hair like he used to do when he was alive. And one woman said, I said, your husband said he's been like touched the back of your head like last night. And she said, I thought I felt something and I popped up. I thought there might be a spider on the pillow. I said, well, you know what I mean? It wasn't a spider, it was love. So if it reminds you of something, gosh, my husband used to do that, or he used to tickle my ear, whatever it was, they want you to know they're there. And it can take time, but it's so worth going after and just being aware. I'm telling you, podcasts like this, and different sites and doing meditation, within a month, you're going to just start knowing more. You're going to just start saying, well, maybe this isn't all poppycock, or maybe what I learned in church, maybe I should just step out a little, because on the other side, there's only one source. There's one, and whatever you believe is in there somewhere. And religion can keep somebody. Sometimes I'll get a comment. You're the devil. Okay, and I'll say, well, God created me, and He wants me to do this. So, what can I say? So,
Barbara, have you ever gone on a podcast show like mine and had a message come through and say, you know what, there's something off about this podcast, or there's a message coming in for the listeners or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I've done live readings on some podcasts, or I've read the host, depending, if somebody was coming in. So
Because
yeah.
I have noticed that the lights are flickering from time to time in the background of you, so I'm not
Oh
sure.
yeah, I'm not alone. We are not alone. Okay. Yeah, I've got some flickering there as well. So somebody, my grandmother's, who got the juju, who nobody told me about. She's one of my inspirers. So she's probably here. When you look back at it, it might come at a time that I said something that was important. Okay.
I pay attention, right, to the background. A lot of when I have a lot of mediums on or psychics on, there's a lot of energy that I feel being pulled into the screen. So I'm not sure if it's one of the listeners that it's pulling or if it's
No, I
meant.
think look, they know what we're doing, that we're here, and so they're giving us some guides and guidelines and whatever. They just like to be around us too, because we've got great energy. We're supposed to.
Well, Barbara, I want to talk to you about your tea. The tea that you gave me was tenacious, embolument, and evolving.
What was
Am
the
I
middle
saying
one?
EBULLIENT? Involvement?
Oh, Ibu. It
I
means
think that's what it is.
joyous.
There we go. Yes.
Ebullient or I swear I can't even remember what it was. Ebullient, I think it's that. I'm not.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay. So you want to know what those means?
Yeah. Why did you give me those 3 words for your tea?
Well, and I know it's how to look at your life or how to move ahead. So tenacity. I've been called a pit bull who will not let go until I get what I want. And I think you just have to go with the flow. I mean, and I'm getting goosebumps for that. So somebody likes that. You have to go with the flow. Everything isn't going to be same. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, but you got to get yourself right back up. And if this is what you want, if you have a goal, you have to just keep going, one foot in front of another, not let anything get you down, because if that is your purpose in life, or you think that is your purpose, you just can't chicken out. You can't just let fear keep you from your destiny. So I just feel like, don't give up. Why give up? If you want something, you'll never get something if you give up on it.
Yeah.
It won't happen. So I think tenacity is actually a real good thing. And don't take no for an answer until they push you out the door and lock it. Okay. So, because I
Even then through the lock.
right. I never take no. Well, what if you do it this way? Well, what if I did this? And I didn't have to do that. And I'm always looking for a side door in. So don't give it up. So ebullient or okay, I'm not going to say the word. It's just do something that you're passionate about, that makes you smile, that you've always thought about, and maybe thought, I can't do it because I have to work and I have all these responsibilities. Somehow you can bring it into your life a little at a time. Just volunteer someplace that you think, you know what I mean? Do something that makes you happy, even if it's for several hours a week on a weekend. That kind of high vibration opens up a lot of doors. When you're feeling that, you are attracting things. You're attracting people and opportunities. So show it. It's like, be proud, be loud. Let people. It gives you. People want to be with you. They trust you. It's a big smile can do more than anything. It shines from within, and find things that make you shine from within. I know it sounds like spiritual, blah, blah, blah. But isn't that the way you want to feel for the rest of your life? You want to feel passionate and you want to feel happy, and that's what you want. If that's what you want in your life, you can have it. Something called, manifestation. That's a whole nother thing. So I'm sure you'll get a manifesto for them. And with the E, I want to say ethics. Be ethical, because your reputation is really all you're going to leave with, okay? If you want a new business or want a new husband or want anything, be honest, be open, be honest, and be true to yourself, and be the person that you want in your life. Somebody who's responsible and takes responsibility, and be that person. And then you'll be ebullient too. So it's a twofer, okay? Evolving. We all have to evolve. I mean, I've done so many things. I started out interested in art, and then I was in advertising. I became a writer, marketing and advertising writer. And for 35 years, I thought, oh my God, this is my purpose in life. I love to write puns and headlines. And then after I aged out of that, I decided, well, I think I'll do commercials. My daughter used to do them, and I used to take her. I said, I can do that. So I had 5 or 6 years of doing commercials and getting them, and whatever. And then there was the pandemic. So I've had a lot of iterations, and I've succeeded at all of them because I'm tenacious and ebullient, and I have ethics. So it all leads to what you want to evolve into, because you want to keep changing. You don't have to do the same thing the rest of your life. You don't have to make the same mistakes over and over again. If you change the way you think and just open up to the possibilities that are out there, which are so much more than we can even think about, you can evolve and change and be more of who your soul is and your heart is. Because we're all just working to evolve our souls. So,
I always love hearing the explanation behind the strong teas that come to the table, because we don't understand someone's tea until they share their tea. And that's why I always ask the words of what your teas are, because I'd like to get to know you a little bit on a different side, right? Almost like a different message.
Did you not think I would be tenacious?
Oh yes, absolutely. I knew. I could see that. We have a question here for you again from the Luxury Rental Doctor Show. Are there any daily practices you recommend for emotional healing and personal growth?
Daily practices. The daily practice is meditating. You want meditating to help you heal physically. There's one for that. You want a meditation that will help you just be calm and be just open, or sleep better if you're not. There's a meditation for everything, and it's pinpointed to help you. You want more money? Do a manifestation one for abundance and wealth. I can't tell you how many unexpected checks came in from a certain place when I had to pay my taxes. And wouldn't you know, it's almost the same amount, with just a few bucks less that I can buy a candy bar. So it's all out there for you. Just don't be afraid of it. It feels everything on the other side feels good. They only have 3 emotions: love, joy, and gratitude. Okay, and helping others. That's it. They're not angry. They're not jealous. You want two guys at a time. You want 2 husbands. You had one husband, loved him. You want the second one. Neither of them are going to be jealous. You can be with both of them. It's heaven.
Well, Barbara, if anybody wanted to reach you or have them on their podcast, where could they reach you? If you could just spell out your website and your final message to all the listeners today.
Okay, I'm at Banner Medium, BANNER medium.com. And that's my website. And my email is info@bannermedium.com. And my message to your audience is this: it's almost indescribable how much joy this has brought me, helping others. You know, I've always wanted to do it. I've been doing it for a long time. But it is so rewarding. It is so rewarding and fun. It's just so much fun. Well, because I like fun anyway, but I'm just saying it's rewarding and fun. And just go for what you feel. Don't be scared anymore. People say you only have one life. Well, that's not true, but you might as well make this one the best it can be and fulfill your dreams, okay? You can have what you want. You just got to do it.
Well, thank you so much, Barb, for sitting and sharing your tea with my listeners today and bringing the medium and the messages from across the other side. I'm just going to do a quick wrap up of what today's tea time is, and we'll be back at 7 with the next tea time. What a beautiful and heartfelt and meaningful conversation today. Barbara, thank you for sharing your wisdom, compassion, and gentle spirit with the tea time community. Your message reminds us that grief and loss may change us, but they do not have to define us. Today, we explored healing, hope, connection, and faith, and the importance of remaining open to comfort during life's most difficult seasons. One of the strongest takeaways from today's conversation is this: love leaves a lasting imprint. Whether through memories, acts of kindness, moments of reflection, or the connection we continue to carry in our hearts, the people we love remain part of our journey. You reminded us that healing is not a destination, it is a process of learning, growing, remembering, and allowing ourselves to move forward while honoring what matters most. As we close today's tea time, I leave everyone with this thought: what if the greatest gift we can give ourselves is permission to heal while still holding space for the love we carry? Because healing does not erase love, it allows love to continue in a different form. Thank you, Barbara, for bringing hope, comfort, and understanding to today's conversation. Until next time, keep sharing kindness, keep leading with compassion, and keep serving real life tea one conversation at a time. And today's takeaway is: healing does not mean letting go of love. Healing means finding new ways of carrying that love forward while continuing your own journey. And I'll see everybody at 7 p.m. with the next tea time.